Powered by MPB, this is Chalkboard Chat, an MPB Education Podcast, hosted by Germaine Flood and Teri Gordon. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org or download the MPB Public Media app to listen on your iPhone or Android device.
Welcome to Chalkboard Chat. Germaine Flood in. Today is our teacher appreciation episode where we are showing our appreciation to Miss Teri Gordon. She's a teacher at the Desoto County Career and Technical Center in Desoto, Mississippi, and she is on the chat today. Welcome to Chalkboard Chat, Miss Gordon.
Thank you for having me. Yes, our school has the longest name ever. We're the Desoto County Career and Technology Center, West Campus.
Right. Now, Ms. Gordon, how long have you been teaching in DeSoto County?
Forever. So I screenshotted the other day to my husband, 11 years, 8 months and like 20 days or something.
And you know it down to the day, literally.
I just saw it the other day. I was requesting some time off and I saw the time and went, oh, it's been 11, almost 12 years.
Too great. Yay. Well, congratulations on your almost 12 years in education. And we want to show our appreciation to you here on the show. So I am so excited to have you on. Now, for my audience, Miss Teri Gordon, she is a digital media technology 1 and 2 teacher. Anything digital, Ms. Gordon literally does. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine arts with an emphasis in graphic design from the Mississippi University for Women. And of course, she's been teaching digital media technology at DeSoto County Career and Technical Center for that amount of time. And so she's here. She's going to be my guru, my new IT person. We're just going to pick her brain and we're going to see exactly why she does what she does and why we're appreciating her here on Chalkboard Chat. So I just want to jump right into you with this whole background of you being in digital media tech. When did you get bit with 1, the teaching bug, and then 2, the tech teaching bug?
So, okay, when did I get bit with the teaching bug? I don't know. My degree's in graphic design. I love graphic design. I love everything typography. I'm a weird person that loves to put things on a page and make them look pretty through text.
Right.
But I was working for one of the local newspapers and my mom called me and she said, do you want to teach? And I said, teach what? She's like, well, graphic design. And I said, well, to who? And she goes, well, DeSoto County is opening a new program. They want to start a new program. And so it would be high school students. And I was like, Mom, who's going to let me in charge of all of these kids to teach them? Like, you've lost your mind, Mom. You've lost your mind. And so I never intended on going into teaching. And then when I went into teaching, I never intended on staying. And I guess almost 12 years later, here I am. Still teaching. So it's I don't know, it's fun. I can remember my first classroom and it was a mess. We've come a long way and started the program from scratch. We had no software, no text, nothing. And I was able to get our IT instructor to maybe bootleg a little bit the Adobe Suite for us so I could teach my curriculum. And I just remember seeing the students' faces when they logged into the computer, they opened that software and they had no idea how to use certain functions in it. And I was able to go over and say, oh, well, you can just do da 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 da. And I thought, this would have been amazing to have as a high school student. I wish I had that. I felt like I couldn't when I was in college. I felt like I was not prepared for the program. Right. And it was just really rewarding to see a kid grasp these things that took me a little while in college to understand.
That is so cool. I just love the fact that it was like me teach and then all of a sudden you become a teacher, but you had that passion already for graphics and tech. So just so cool. Of everybody's different story of how they fell into teaching, but this is definitely one of the cooler ones because it was like you're talking about me teaching somebody's children. So
they're gonna leave them and me in charge of them for like extended periods of the day. What?
Right.
And I went to my interview thinking they are never gonna hire me. They're gonna look at me and go, "You're not like you can't teach. You can't conduct a class of like 20 something kids, but
you do. And you did.
It's been a journey.
Yeah, you do. And you did. Now tell me a little bit about this DeSoto County Career and Technical Center versus what I guess a regular high school would be. So in DeSoto County, there's a high school and then you have this Career and Technical Center as well.
Okay, so we have two career and technical centers. We have our East and West campus. And traditionally, the VOTECs or the career tech centers are embedded in the high schools. But DeSoto County has 8 different high schools. So we have some career tech programs on campus at some of our high schools. But then for some of our larger programs, we bus the students in from their high school and they stay for our class. And then they get back on their bus and they go back to their regular schools and finish out their day.
Okay. So y'all are more like where they would commute in and then commute back out.
Yeah. So we don't keep them all day, and we don't have, I think something that always throws the kids off at the beginning is that we don't have lunch. We don't feed lunch. And they always want to know, where's your cafeteria? We don't have a cafeteria. You have to find that at your home school.
Right.
But yeah, so
right.
And it really helps because having one center, we're really able to put focus, I guess, or emphasis into each individual program and really grow the program. I don't know that you could do what we've done and have it at all 8 of the high schools.
Did DeSoto County, and I don't know, you might not happen to know this, but did they find that they needed that and that's why they opened up the career and tech centers?
It's been here. It's been there forever. We used to be called the VOTEC, and we used to be located at South Haven High School. We were in like this really, really old part of the middle school that used to be the high school. And I remember when we got our building that we're in now, when it was being built, they wanted to renovate the building. And I found such humor in this. They were going to make a 9th grade academy where our building was. And the architects came in and all the engineers, and they said that it would cost more money to bring this building up to code and safety standards than it would to just knock it down and build a new building.
Right.
So it was there for a while. It had a bad rap for a while. So we've been working to change that. I'm sure you're familiar with like the auto classes and shop classes that, might have been attached to a high school. So we've always had those programs, but even those programs now have technology. Like our welding program, I've not gotten to use it yet, but our welding program is a virtual welding machine. And it's this massive, beautiful thing. So the buildings really helped with that image.
Now with your certifications literally in everything, Photoshop, Dreamweaver, Final Cut Pro X, Motion 5, Logic Pro X, and then your accolades. First place, Mississippi Collegiate Arts, graphic designer accolades, just everything, freelance graphic artists. How much fun do your students have in your class? Because now tech is literally everything and everywhere. So I'm wondering, I know when I was in school, tech was like, oh, we got to go to computer class and type on this keyboard. But now I know tech is like this big thing, and that they see it as not only something that they use, but something that they could go into the profession of. And so how much fun do they have with you, and what's their response just to you as a teacher there at DeSoto County Career and Tech Center?
So I think this is so funny. We talk about, as a school district, you're always going to hear about, especially public school, you're going to hear about discipline issues. And one of my closest friends is the counselor at our alternative center where all the disciplined kids, get sent. And so it's just so funny that, like our principal will get asked, well, what kind of discipline issues do you have here? And we're like, well, the other day someone told one of the students, you look ugly today, or, something so trivial, because we don't have any of those big school issues. It's so nice. And our students, like, we don't have discipline issues. We have students that we have an application process. So they actually have to apply to come to our programs. If they want to come back for the second year, they apply again. And so we have kids that just really want to be there. And I think, like, I have students that are in the industry, and I have students that are in college working towards going into the industry. And I think I was actually we have a new program director this year, and I'm obsessed with all of the changes at MDE. I love all the changes that have come our way. I invited our program director to come see our building and our school and meet us. And he brought, I think, all of MDE with him when he came over. And one of his suggestions, as well as some other people that were with him, they all said, "Where is your recording studio?" Because we do teach music production. And I showed them, and they were like, that's not going to work. So they suggested that I change my office into a recording studio. And I'm going to say it's pretty much 100. We'll say it's 95% complete as of Thursday of last week. Yay. And I've already got students asking if they can put their finished songs on Spotify. So it's I don't know a lot about music production. I can show them the software, but one of the first things MDE said was, you don't have to know everything about music production and all these different genres of music and all of these different instruments. If you build it, they will come, kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, you give them the tools, and you have this environment for them to use it, you're going to be amazed. I am. It's been so much fun.
Right. The only question I have now is, where do you sit and work with the studio being in your office?
So that was always kind of a running joke, because I don't think I ever used my office, even when I had my office.
They're like, you don't use it, just put a studio in there.
I don't. It's just kind of there to take space up, and I made the old recording studio my office, but now I'm finding that my film students want to use my office as a setting, an environment for all of their films these days. So, I just have a really messy desk in my classroom.
So funny, just so funny. That is too cool. Now, I heard you talk about changes, especially when it deals with MDE, but how excited are you and probably ready for the pay raise that had been proposed for the teachers? How much is that going to mean to you, and probably mean to your colleagues as well?
If we can get gas prices down, that is going to be amazing. It's going to be the best raise on the planet.
Right. You'll feel it then.
Yes. But it is very exciting. I don't know how families can afford just day-to-day expenses on teacher budgets. And I admire the households that have two parents that are both teachers, and they have children, and they're able to actually like feed their children and then put them in activities outside of school. I don't know how they do it. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. And I've noticed with some of my students, they were talking about how their parents were going to be getting the teacher raise and how much it was going to mean to them. So one in particular student comes from a single parent household. So, I mean, this is just, it's going to be great.
Right. It's going to work out for sure. Now, when it comes down to that, I already know y'all been through so much. One, as a teacher, just in general, I call you all the jack of all trades. Literally, you are the umbrella and everything falls up underneath that. But when it came down to the pandemic, I already know that's probably hit a lot of teachers' pockets personally, not just in their school environment. How did you fare out there at Desoto County Career and Technical Center with the changes, and then maybe coming back? How was that time for you?
That was that's trying to bring up like PTSD here. I'm not
trying, I promise.
The pandemic was really hard, and I have a lot of art students, and not to label all of my art students, but a lot of the art kids express their feelings a lot more than others might. Right. And their outlet really is being around their friends, and it's being around their group of kids that relate to them. And I think one of the hardest things during the pandemic for me was just coping with so many of them with mental health issues. Our district did a phenomenal job of getting devices to every student. And we were able, I think like I got into the habit, but I think my husband thought I was crazy. Margaret loved it. My daughter thought it was great because she got to socialize. But I started the habit of doing Zoom meetings with the kids, and they're like, "Oh, what do we have to talk about?" And I said, "Nothing. We're just going to say, hey, we're just going to check in on each other. We're not necessarily going to have class right now, and I'm not going to give you an assignment, but like, let's just talk. Let's just chat for a little while. And I think they thrived
Enjoyed
with
that.
that.
Yeah.
And last year was challenging with the social distancing and everything, but they're back. They're full force. They're back.
Right. It's
So,
pandemic who? No.
yes, I mean that's pretty much my classroom. Every little bitty inch my principal gave us to have group work or interact with each other or to get back out to the community, because a big thing my class does is volunteer work in the community. We love going out and filming and taking pictures, and it's good hands-on experience. So I think every little inch she gave us, we took the whole thing. We were like, yes, we get to, be social beings. So it's been good to be back.
Good stuff. Now, for my listeners, Miss Teri Gordon teaches our MPB Student Council member, who is also a member of our MPB Student Council podcast. One of our hosts of that podcast, her name is McKenna Mead. Let's just talk about McKenna for a second. How great of a student is McKenna in your class?
McKenna could run my class. Like, McKenna could seriously, I think I've had a couple of times when I've been sick or out of town on like conferences or what have you, and I can just message McKenna and say, okay, McKenna, this is what they need to do. Yes, ma'am. I got it.
She's the sub.
She's amazing. I mean, she is. One day this year, I can't remember what I was doing. I was late coming in for my second block. I have no idea where I was, but she told the entire second block that I'm the sub for the day and you have a lot of work. You all need to sit down and get ready. And she was just she's being super intimidating. And I walk in and my entire second block is sitting down and they're just.
I believe it. I believe it.
Wait, Miss Gordon, you're here? Yes, I'm here. Well, who is she? I said, that's McKenna. She's my third year.
I believe it. How sad are you going to be when she graduates, though?
We are going to have a lot of sadness when she graduates across the board. I think the whole school's going to feel it. And I think even my sponsors are going to feel it. We do a lot, and I'm sure she's told you about Musicians for Le Bonheur. Our gold sponsor, the media specialist for North Central, has dubbed McKenna the interviewer. She's our interview. If we need an interview, we just hand McKenna the microphone. McKenna, we need. Okay, I got it. Who am I interviewing? And I mean, she's just really grown and fits that role so well. I can't wait to see. I'm going to miss her. I'm going to stalk her. She's definitely not going away forever. But I can't wait to see what she ends up doing and where it all takes her.
Me as well. She literally could run the MPB Student Council podcast. So I'm right there with you when it comes down to her. So
she's great. And she's grown so much. Mm-hmm. So I think one of the best things about being a career tech is we get these kids for 2 years. And then if we're lucky, we get them for a third year. And so you watch them go from this little sophomore to seniors, and
right.
It's nice.
Right. Beautiful progression.
It's brilliant though.
All of your hard work, Miss Gordon, that's gone into her as well. So I'm like, who edits audio? I do. She just does it all. So I just thank you so much for pouring into McKenna. Thank you so much for that. So let's just jump into it. I want to know, how do you balance teaching children at school and then have to come home and balance your child, who you've mentioned a few times? And I don't know if my audience has heard, she may have been squeaking a little in the background on this episode, but how do you say, okay, I'm done with school and then now I'm mom?
Oh, I don't. I have a million babysitters. I think I had 3 students show up for her birthday party this year. 3 of my girls showed, can we go to Morgan's birthday party? I said, sure, come on. But, I don't know. I guess I just blend it all together. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not answering that too well. I'm sorry.
Look, that's okay, because you've got your child right there around you, so I could understand. So I want to say happy Mother's Day to you, and
Thank you.
happy Teacher Appreciation Week as well.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, she's on her iPad now. I promise. Pretty princess when we get done with this. So,
Right. So she's been a great background interviewee. I've loved her on this episode.
I will say the pandemic really, it humbled me. I did not realize how disconnected I was from my child until I was at home as a single parent with her. My husband was still going into the office every day. And I love that I teach teenagers.
Right.
I could not. I have all the admiration in the world for my child's teachers and for the daycare workers that had her before. They're a handful.
Right. Happy Teachers really Appreciation to those ladies as well.
Yes.
Happy Teachers Appreciation.
I feel like I get to go to work every day, and I don't even know that. It doesn't feel like teaching. I feel like I just get to go to work and play and show these kids really cool stuff that I know. And I think the real work comes when I get home.
Right. Now, just back into your tech before I get into the last question, how do you keep up with the changing landscape of tech? How much professional development do you have to go through yourself? And is it professional, or do you just do it on the side at the house? You start playing with software and programs. How does that work for you when it comes down to keeping up with the landscape?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think definitely some professional development. I was able to work in a few hours of professional development on my video software this year, and I was able to play it during my video production class. So while I was getting trained, they were also getting to watch all of this. So we all kind of learned together, which was nice. I told them they had to remember because I was probably going to forget, and they had to teach me how to use it all later. But so we do, we have our professional developments, and the kids will show you so much. I'm the worst. I'm great when it comes to my MacBook, but anytime these iPhones come out with a new update, I am lost. And so they're usually the first ones to tell me, okay, Miss Gordon, this is how this works. This is how that works.
Right.
But then I also, like I said, I joke about stalking McKenna when she graduates, but I do keep up with my students when they graduate, and I love hearing where they're at and what they're doing. But then they can also, they're so great about sharing what they do in their industries or what projects they're doing in college. And so it's nice to hear what they're saying as well. So I'm trying to keep up with all of it.
Right. I'm calling you if I have any Mac questions or issues. It's done. It's done. You're my IT Mac person. So.
I'm your Mac girl. I think I have the only Apple computer lab in our entire county. So,
wow, you are that person.
I'm my own little Apple person.
Right, you're your own little Apple person. So what advice would you give a future teacher, potential teacher, somebody who's just new to teaching, to help them along on their professional journey in the world of education?
Oh, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And I think that, I've been through several different administrations at this point, and you're going to have good administration, and you're going to have administration that you just do not get along with, but you're not there for that purpose. You're there for the kids. And whenever my students get to class and they're all in the room and just chatting away and working, that I forget about everything else. It's hard to focus on anything else, and they keep me so busy. There's never really a dull moment. And I like that about teaching. I had somebody say, I don't know if it was in a keynote speaker or where I heard this, but it's like, don't get into teaching for the holidays because you're always teaching. Christmas break rolls around, you're like, oh yay, 2 weeks. But the first day you're home, your students are probably going to be messaging you or their parents. And summer break hits and you're like, oh yay. But I found myself in my classroom all summer because there's always so much to do, and I've made it my own space and I love it.
Right.
So, just take it day by day. Yeah, and just you got to love on them. You got to love these babies. You don't know what it's been like when they were at home. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like for them except for the time that they're in your room. And if you can give these kids a purpose, if it's only for that hour and a half each day, then, go for it. I've heard of some students that I had in the past that kind of hit very negative attitude spirals. And I've just recently been told why, and it just crushes me. And I was a very young teacher when I had this particular student. And, you just got to remember that they're all kids. Even if they're in high school, they're still kids. And just enjoy your hour and a half, your hour with them every day, and leave them with a little bit more than they came in with.
I love the fact that you pour into them, that you love those babies, that you love what it is that you do, that you love being the mother that you are when you're at the house, that you love being the instructor and the teacher that you are when you're at work. And that's why McKenna said what she said when she had chose you as the teacher who is one of her favorites that teach uniquely. And that's why I wanted to make sure that you came on Chalkboard Chat for our Teachers Appreciation episode, so we can show you that love back, and we can put everything that you do for those babies out into the atmosphere so that everybody else can learn how to do the same thing too. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gordon, for changing the lives of all the students who have ever graced your classroom, and changing my life today because now I have a new IT person. So
only with Apple. We were state testing the other day, and I was handing out the little laptops or the Chromebooks, whatever they are, and I was handing them out to the students, and I had to look at one of them and I said, how do you turn this thing on? Like, where's the power button? I had no clue. I couldn't find it.
Right.
So,
I agree too. The Android, if you're coming from one land to the next, moving and trying to maneuver between. So I've got a Mac over here. I've got the PC here. I prefer to do my Adobe Audition production on Mac. But then we have to have the PC because all my files and everything are like all inside of this thing. So basically that's what I do. Flip back and forth between one another. And then I'm such a Samsung girl that I literally have Samsung phone, Samsung headphones, Samsung TV at the house. But then I cheat on Samsung sometimes because I don't like Android tablets. So my tablet is an Apple.
I have been fully crossed over to the Apple world. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
It's great when I get those kids too in the class that are like, it's all Apple. Like, PCs are so much better. And I'm like, they could be better. You could have the best PC in the world, but I'm still not going to know how to turn it on. So we're going to use these.
Right. Good stuff, Ms. Gordon. Well, I just thank you so much for joining us here on Chalkboard Chat. To my audience, this has been Ms. Teri Gordon. She's a teacher at the DeSoto County Career and Technical Center. She leads up the Digital Media Technology 1 and 2 out there, and we have had a ball with her for this Teachers Appreciation. We celebrate all month. So we have had a ball with her on this episode, and we are just glad to be able to show our appreciation to Ms. Teri Gordon of DeSoto County Career and Tech Center in DeSoto, Mississippi. So thank you so much. Thank you for your baby coming on with you as well. She was definitely somewhat the star of this show in addition to you. And to my audience, this has been Chalkboard Chat. Class is now dismissed.
You've been listening to Chalkboard Chat, an MPB Education Podcast. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org or download the MPB Public Media app to listen on your iPhone or Android device. This podcast is hosted with love by ACAST.